What are we watching today?
KWANSU Dudes!
We don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Surf Ninjas, originally released in 1993, rated PG, coming in at 87 minutes. Classified as action, adventure, and comedy, it was directed by Neil Israel and written by Dan Gordon. The film stars Ernie Reyes Sr., Ernie Reyes Jr., Nicholas Conway, John Carlin, Rob Schneider, and Leslie Nielsen. What you mean you ain't seen Surf Ninjas?
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I haven't.
Have you bastards even ever heard of Surf Ninjas?
Nope.
It's got Ernie Reyes Jr. Did you not just hear me in the intro saying it's got Ernie Reyes Jr.?
I might have heard something about that.
Well, fuck. Now that you've seen it, does it hold up to what you would expect from a movie called Surf Ninjas?
I was gonna say, based on the title, not quite. I expected literal ninjas on surfboards. We didn't quite get
I
that.
guess that's fair.
But
Wait,
after a minute, it gets there. Yeah, it's pretty dope.
Yeah, no. It was... I didn't know what to expect, really. Like, it sounded outrageous. I mean, it was outrageous. But,
And the only thing you had seen of it before, I didn't show you all the trailer this time, the only thing you had seen was the Moto Surf sequence, which, out of context of the movie, like, that doesn't really make you excited. You're just kind of like, yeah, that's a thing. Was that a thing in the 90s?
Moto surf! Moto surf! Moto surf!
Not really. Not really, just in this movie, I guess.
I guess.
I think that they substituted smoking pot with moto surfing.
You know, yeah.
Like hotboxing your car as you're on your way to school. I
It
think.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, Johnny got caught twice this week already.
Yeah.
You know, or whatever.
And
And
they,
like
like,
the
stop
cop
the guys.
pulls the oar out, and he's like, "Just once, I'd like to be wrong."
We want motor surfing? Yeah, right. You know, just once, I'd like to be wrong.
I'm willing to bet that at some point in the development of this script, that was like pot.
Yep.
They were smoking pot, and then
For
they
sure.
changed it to moto surfing when they wanted to try to make it a little more kid friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
It's hilarious.
11-year-old smoking joints in the car.
right? So, in general, what'd you think of Surf Ninjas?
Oh, it was nothing but laughs. I had a great time. It is a family movie, definitely. Like, I'd watch it with my kids.
It's goofball. It's
Absolute-
funny as
absolute.
shit. It's,
Yeah.
I don't even know. It's so cheesy, but like everything they do, you expect it. Like you're waiting
some degree,
for it.
yeah.
You want the payoffs, and then they give them to you, and you're like,
Very satisfying, yeah.
Yeah, this is unabashedly one of my favorite fucking movies.
yeah.
Mind you, I saw it when I was a kid in 1993 when it first came out, or at least when it first came out on video, which might have been the year afterward.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've always been a fan of it, and it is the example that I use when I tell people that, like, just because you like something doesn't make it good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, there are a lot of things this movie does well, and it's actually a pretty decent kids film, but I would be going out on a limb if I were saying that this is a good movie.
Yeah.
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 I hear
But
you.
It's a reach.
But it is a super fun movie and one of my favorites.
KWANSU dudes!
And now they gotta fight the righteous fight. Surf Ninjas!
I love the part when I was like, ah! Sorry.
So, what is your favorite thing about Surf Ninjas?
The whole thing's great, but I like especially both performances of Barbara Ann.
Of what?
Barbara Ann.
Oh, Bob Ran?
It's
yeah.
my favorite. Oh my god, Beach
Or
Boys.
Baba Ram.
Right,
As
that-
it's performed
I think
earlier
that's
on.
the first one's my favorite just because of that, and I literally did this. I did
Yeah,
not
I wasn't
expect at
expecting
all.
that. That was pretty
Yeah.
fantastic.
Ba 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 rum. Ba 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 rum. Take my hand. Ba rum. You got me rocking and rolling, rocking and reeling, Baba rum.
There's a lot of smartassery in this movie.
Yes.
There's a lot, like, good God, is that why people hate our generation?
Oh yeah, like
Like we were known as the quippy kids, the ones that backtalked and hated their parents. Parents weren't cool, man.
well, and here's the thing though, is like yes, this movie is totally indicatively 90s. Like
Yeah.
these are the quintessential 90s kids, except in the movie, even when they're little jerks, they never lose a certain amount of likability.
Right.
And by the end of the movie, like, you really do care about them. The difference is, as kids, we watch this movie and we're like, that's the kid I want to be.
Yeah,
The problem is,
exactly.
you translate that into real life, and you're a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Because
To get your ass whooped.
you're
Yeah.
not as cute or as charming as these kids are.
Yeah.
You're just a little dick. But yeah, specifically, like, man, Adam in this movie is just on fire.
No
Yeah,
chill
holy
whatsoever. None.
Like,
Yeah.
what? Just the
See
oh
how
my
easily
God.
I could have killed you. Well, yeah, I'm 11.
Congratulations. Give yourself a
yeah.
big pat on the back. Yeah, and I
my
mean,
God.
like, obviously Johnny too, but like he's 16 and his quips are very kind of just like,
Whatever.
yeah,
man.
he's very,
Shut
he very
up.
much has the surfer dude kind of mentality, whereas the little brother's just like, fuck you all.
a savage little shit.
My
Yeah.
favorite thing about the movie pretty much is those two jokes. It's hard for me to distinguish. One is the money can't buy knives joke, which is just like a running gag that helps us transition through them traveling through the jungle
Yeah.
of the island. Like that's really the only function it serves. It doesn't really make sense in terms of pacing, but they're like, well, they have to move through the jungle.
Yeah.
Let's do this little bit, and from I don't know why, I fucking love it.
What's there?
Your inheritance.
Money?
No. Something not even money can buy. The knives of KWANSU.
Knives? Oh yeah, seriously. That's something money can't buy. Knives. Once I went into a cutlery store and said, here's $100,000. Can I buy a knife? They said, no, money can't buy knives. Gee, I guess that's why you hardly ever see any of them around. On the third day of the expedition, they came across a giant rubber plant. Unfortunately, they could not cut it down, for as we know, money can't buy knives. Walking around the plant, they continued on the shores of Patusan.
Is there no way we could shut this chattering monkey up?
You know, I'd cut him, but I don't have a knife.
And then the other one is a moment that I goddamn love, even though it totally breaks. It's one of the things that you could point to as this movie not being a technically good movie.
Yeah.
Because once in the movie it breaks the fourth wall
Yes.
with Rob
Yeah.
Schneider whenever they're in the back of the Jeeps and like he's like gets the dynamite, which is a great joke in of itself, where he just starts throwing it and hits one of them in the head and they crash. And he's like, I got one. They're like, light it. Which then it turns out Home Dude has a lighter and cigarettes, and he tells him, you should try the patch. And then he looks directly at us.
Maybe you should get the patch. Look who I'm talking to.
And like that breaks all the rules this movie has set forth in terms of the storytelling style and everything
Yeah.
about it. Zach is the fucking narrator of the story.
Yeah.
You know? But I love that moment. It comes out of nowhere and the build up to it is great. And then we get explosions right after. So and I think like a lot of the things I really love about this movie, I love everything in the movie, but it is probably the best goddamn Rob Schneider performance in a movie, which isn't saying a lot, but like,
Bear with us.
but like, he's really solid in this movie. He's still young enough that he still has to prove himself. He feels like he still has something he has to earn.
Yeah.
And he's still in that mode of being a supporting actor, where I feel is like where he shines brightest
Yeah.
in movies like 50 First Dates, even though people are like, oh, that's racist. Like, it was also kind of funny. You know, and stuff like that.
also kind of
If you put Rob Schneider in like a supporting role in your movie, he'll kill every scene that he's in. He's just great in those moments.
Yeah.
But if you try to make him the lead of your movie, you get fucking the animal, and nobody wants it.
The animal.
Nobody wants it,
I
Rob.
forgot about the animal.
All right, guys. What was your least favorite thing about Surf Ninjas? And don't worry, I won't kill you. Bree,
Yeah.
what was your least favorite thing about Surf Ninjas?
I'm I'm not quite sure I have one. It was just
I told you I'm not going to kill you. You
Okay.
can speak freely.
I am.
I don't oppress women on this show. That's not what I'm about.
Oh my god.
Lines.
Oh man. No, but I really don't. I mean, if I had to nitpick, I could say they could have worked a little better on the soundtrack, if there was one.
The score?
Yeah, it was okay.
Well, I mean, it was
But I was
mostly it was mostly a source soundtrack. Like, it was mostly soundtrack. There's not a lot of score in the movie.
Like
Yeah.
the fight, like when he pulls.
Okay, here's the thing. The soundtrack's dope, but
realizes
if you want
he's
to talk
got
about the
martial
score,
arts.
that's okay. That's fair.
Okay.
Because basically it's just like endless cliche,
Yeah.
like
So-
South Polynesian or like
what I
fucking
mean, yeah.
vaguely Oriental flutes and strings.
Yeah. Yeah.
The actual like score or like the actual soundtrack music of like all the different people is actually pretty good for the
Yeah.
time it came out, and like for a
That's-
fun family movie, somehow you got Tone Loc on there. But okay, no, like the little
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
yeah,
Could
okay.
have been a little nicer. But I
Alright.
mean, that's nitpicky.
Sure, that's fair. So Logan,
Yeah.
what's your least favorite thing about Surf Ninjas? And don't worry, no matter what might have happened when the camera was off, you're in a safe space right now.
Man, you know, my least favorite thing is it's better than Sidekick.
Fair point.
Right on.
It is better than Sidekick. But then again, it wasn't written and directed by Chuck Norris's fucking brother, so that's a very good point.
Yeah. But I mean, if we're gonna really bitch about the movie, the blowing up the house cliche.
I don't think you want to go back there, man. Our pal Long John Silver here left the gas on. Real bright. I mean, what if the house blows up? Oh!
Yeah. Fuck
Okay.
that.
Okay, that's fair also. That's fair also. That is fair. It's a shame.
So we good?
It's... Sure. We're good. But, you know, witnesses.
Right.
So, Nerd Scum, what was your least favorite thing about Surf Ninjas? My least favorite thing about Surf Ninjas is the fact that it's fucking stupid. It's a stupid movie for little kids where, like, every 90s action movie, fucking guys with guns just stand around fucking waiting for the main characters to fucking come in and kick their ass. And fucking Old Man Reyes is going in slow motion half the time so the cameras can fucking keep up. And we'd like to send a very special thanks out to Dr. Herbert West for helping us recover from my nostalgic psychosis, let's call it. He's a good man. Good man.
Dad? Remember the guy you said would come if we didn't eat our vegetables? He's here.
No, that's not the boogeyman. It's a homicidal killer. Search.
It's a fucking awesomely fun movie,
It's
isn't
so
it?
fun. Like,
Quatsu!
oh my
Yeah.
god.
It is fucking stupid. And it does follow
yeah.
every fucking cliche from the 90s and the 80s in terms of an action movie, but kind of watered down for a more family-friendly environment. Although we do get multiple sex jokes. We get multiple fucking, like, instances of kids murdering people. It's not very graphic, but they're leading
The idea's there.
They're
Yeah.
leading a rebellion. They're going there to kill people,
Literally,
you know?
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah. And all these ninja dudes, it's not like we see them integrated back into society. No, they're all fucking dead,
Yeah.
you know?
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, one rolled down the bottom of a mountain, but
Right.
you know.
Well, yeah.
The one that got
Although,
away.
I meant the actual guys in ninja costumes.
Ah,
yeah.
okay.
Those guys we've never seen. That guy we saw, like, yeah, he'll probably be rolling around. You know, he's just kicking it for a while. While the movie's not, like, a good movie, like, it does utilize good techniques. Like, it's very cliched, it's very formulaic, but, like, they do set things up and then pay most of those things off.
Yeah.
Right.
I think the only thing they didn't really pay off was like the moto surf.
Yeah.
Which
yeah.
again I think is more. I think because also in the moment of the moto surf they actually do have the 3 points that they are usually doing for these jokes to sell. They just all happen within a couple of minutes. It's kind of analogous to like the fucking money can't buy knives bit.
Yeah.
Where like instead of it being paid off later on, it's just kind of like, oh, we have this one thing going here, and like it's just like a run, I guess.
Yeah.
But in general, like the rules of 3 usually apply in this movie. So if they mention something twice, like little kid being like, oh, I wish I could drive, but the man won't let me, and stuff like that, eventually little motherfucker gets to drive, you know?
Anyone need a ride?
Yeah. Which leads us into like one of the better action sequences of the movie. So like while I wouldn't say it's a good movie, it knows what it is, it plays to those strengths, and like in terms of the kind of movie it is actually pretty well crafted. I even think that like the acting in this movie, like there's some not great acting in this movie in places, but I think that most of the acting is pretty solid, especially for a movie like this. If you think about most PG kids movies from the 90s, the level of acting, like compare this to like Surf Ninjas, or like you were saying, even like Sidekick, something like that. Like this movie is definitely has a higher caliber of acting and a higher caliber of just like technical filmmaking,
just action.
Like, going into it.
A lot more of the choreography. And just...
like they really tried to push it, and a lot of the choreography, and I even think a lot of the like really strong scenes in terms of acting come from Ernie Reyes Jr. and Ernie Reyes Sr., like father and son, who worked on this movie. I'm pretty sure, I haven't looked into it in a while, but I'm pretty sure that they choreographed a good bit of the fights for this movie, and that and again, like his acting is highly underrated. Because Home Dude in this movie, lots of times, there's a couple of moments where it's a little goofy or a little over the top, but like, in general, he really sells all the moments. Like,
he really does.
It feels pretty natural. And I also think that he really sells the idea of like this kind of like carefree, kind of slacker, stoner surfer dude from LA. Transforming into like the warrior prince of legend and everything, like
Bonnie
so
Badass.
As a kid, one of the best things for me was getting to see him, like literally the scenes where his body is acting against his own will. Like as a kid, for me, those are the moments where you were just like, holy crap,
God.
because you can it's like, oh, someone who was never capable of something like that. It's like a total young teens fantasy coming to life. It's just like all of a
suddenly I can do this.
All of a sudden I can do this, and like to sell those moments so well. And I also love like the little callback to that moment later on when he unsheathes the sword and the same music starts playing, and this time he actually hears it and he's like, what the whatever, and like just shrugs and goes, okay. Which again is a great comedic moment, and he plays it so well. And like it's a shame that like these days he's really been relegated to like bit parts in action movies and stuff. He had a pretty good run on Alias for a while, like back in the day, and it's a smaller role, but he's fantastic in the movie The Rundown with The Rock and Sean William Scott and freaking Christopher Walken and Rosario Dawson. Like he's got a badass fight scene with The Rock, and it's just fucking dope.
That's okay. That is okay.
Hey, Kansas City, eu vou quebrar tua cara.
Don't do it.
Eu vou quebrar tua cara.
It's like spinning Tarzan jiu-jitsu.
Ernie Reyes Jr. is the shit, guys. He's the bomb.
Johnny, are you okay?
Yeah,
We all enjoyed this movie. Would you recommend it?
Oh yeah, especially to families with small children. It will
Yeah.
have them bouncing off the walls. They'll love it. It was fantastic.
Well, there is Playboy in this.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, and it was
Watch
like
out.
funny for us. Like there were some adult jokes in there too.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'd recommend it. You know, if you do have, like, if you just, you have to, you're hanging out with your buddy, but he's got his kid there, and you're like, fuck, we can't watch, like, John Wick 3. Like, we gotta watch something a little more, and it's like, man, have you seen Surf Ninjas?
Oh my gosh.
They'll both be excited that you showed them that movie.
They will.
Yeah, fair.
So,
Fair.
pretty good.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it to folks because, like you were saying, and the movie's a little dated, but it's not to a kid. There's enough cool stuff around the jokes that are dated that it won't matter. And for adults who actually remember, like, old school voicemail and old school portable phones and, like, all that kind of stuff, will still kind of get the jokes, even if it feels a little dated. So, yeah, I definitely recommend it. And being PG, while there's a couple of things that some people today might get a little about, like, honestly, it's harmless.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, highly recommend. Real super fun movie, guys.
That's Shred! KWANSU Dudes!
Brothers don't surf. Let's get back to the hood. Won't none of the homies talk to me again.
Right on, children of the screen. Thank you for joining us for another episode of What You Mean You Ain't Seen? Surf Ninjas.
Good night, guys.
Later.
Right on, guys. If you like this video, please leave a like and share it with some friends. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe and hit that little bell so you can get updates on all the dope content we'll have coming out in the future. Furthermore, guys, if you'd like to follow me on Instagram or Twitter, I will have the links for that in the description below. Thank you very much once again, children of the screen. Hope you all have a good one. Nerd Scum, out. KWANSU Dudes!